Whenever. Yep, you can start it now.
Yo, what is good, Sixer Nation? You already know who this is. It's DFJ Hoops, and I'm here with my guy Jason Joseph, but I'll let him introduce himself. Take it away, Jason.
What's up, DFJ? What's going on, guys? My name is Jason Joseph. I go by JJ on here. You can call me. You can call me Jason. You can call me JJ. As my Zadie would say, though, just don't call me late to dinner. But some of my jokes are like really corny. But like, man, I know that we're gonna talk more about tonight, but I wanted to kind of like lighten the mood a little bit before we unload the whole pack, because I don't know about you, but I do have a lot to say about this game, and I didn't think I did, but the more I process it, no pun intended, the more I think about it and the more I have to say. And it's not a lot of good things. There were a couple of things that I did like about tonight, but overall, it's just this is one of those games where you just vomit.
Right. And we're definitely going to get into it. But the 76ers played the Memphis Grizzlies on a second night on a back-to-back in South Philly, and they hosted the Memphis Grizzlies at home. No Joel Embiid, no Tyrese Maxey. DeAnthony Melton is out. Robert Covington is out. And I think Kyle Lowry was also out for,
Yep.
I think he was load managing. He's still ramping up for the very near future. But let's just get into tonight's game. And so I'm a little bit speechless, but the 76ers hosted the Memphis Grizzlies, like I said, on a back-to-back. And I did have a pregame live earlier today, and I did favor the 76ers to win this game because I felt as though that they was going to come out and come out with a sense of urgency and take everything serious and win this game tonight, even though they were missing a bunch of players, even though Maxey was going to be out and a few other players were going to be out. But I still had the 76ers winning this game tonight. And there's a couple of things that really went on in this game that I was really, really disappointed. I mean, for the most part, I thought they were going to win it because, like I said, they had the 15-point lead heading into the fourth. But it's a bunch of things that happened in that fourth quarter. But just talk to me about what you saw in the first half, your observations, and what you took from the first half, Jason.
The first half, in all honesty, I thought that they looked a little bit slow. They looked a little bit flat out of the gate. You understand that without Kyle Lowry and Tyrese Maxey, that you are going to be playing Cam Payne and Buddy Hield, and those are your only two guards that are out there that are actually reliable. So it's understandable that they were a little bit cold to begin with. There were a couple of times I saw Cam Payne drive into the basket, and I thought that he did a good job from that perspective early on in the game. I liked what I really liked what Kelly Oubre was giving you. I did think, though, on the flip side, and this was part of the reason why that they lost, was that he, even though he had 25 points and he was really assertive, he had some bad turnovers. The first one I remember was when he got a rebound and the ref made the right call.
Right.
And his right toe was on the baseline and he was out of bounds. And that was and he has to be careful of that. He has to know where his footing is. And then the second time he turns it over, he's about ready to shoot a three, steps out of bounds. Next time, he's underneath the baseline, catches it. Guess where he is? You guessed it, out of bounds. But you know, those turnovers were really sloppy, and I just thought that they were really careless mistakes. And I know that he had 25 points. I'm happy that he's so aggressive, and he was going to the line a lot. I love him coming off the bench. I love the energy that he brings. It is just like, it's just so annoying when he's just making those careless types of mistakes because you just think that he's going to just do better. That's that was like my biggest takeaway from the first half. I thought that they did a much better job at shooting the ball in the second quarter. They were actually shooting well from three. They were efficient, but in the second quarter, they put the foot on the gas pedal and they actually stepped up in the transition game. And Memphis went really cold from three in that second quarter. And part of that was because of the adjustments that they made. And actually, they put in Ricky Council the fourth for 9 minutes. And I know that he was a -10 on the floor. But when you have a forward or a guy that can actually body up against Jaren Jackson Jr., I thought that he made it tougher for him. I really did. So that was another positive that I took away from the game in regard to just the first.
Let's. I just want to go back a little bit and speak on Kelly Oubre now. Kelly Oubre against the Brooklyn Nets, he finished with 30 points. So I just felt as though that as he came out tonight, he absolutely followed it up with that 25 points. But I mean, even though he was inefficient, he was just attacking the basket, which I really liked from him. And like you said, he got to the free throw line. He shot 9 free throws, so he was generating rim pressure, and that was one thing that I really liked from him because if you pay attention to Triple J, Jaren Jackson Jr., he's a pretty good defender. I mean, he was a defensive player of the year last year. But one thing that he does the most is he fouls a lot. So I was just thinking Kelly Oubre should just go downhill every single time and try to get him in foul trouble. I mean, when I look at his stats from here, he had 4 fouls in the paint. So Kelly Oubre did a solid job, driving to the basket. But like you said, those turnovers really hurt the Sixers a lot. And, just stepping out of bounds, sometimes he'll do a pump fake and then next thing you know, he steps out of bounds. And Scott Foster was just calling it. And one play, he was trying to save the ball from going out of bounds. And he stepped on the line. And Scott Foster was like, he was just right there. So he called it, which it was a good call.
It was the right call.
It was the right call, yeah. But for the most part, he did show up for the Sixers. He did give the Sixers some sort of life, but those turnovers really hurt the Sixers in the long run, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was just like one of those games where with Kelly, you like what you saw in regards to just the boost coming off the bench,
Right,
and he embraces like the city, like he represents that blue collar mentality. But
uh,
I'd be naive if I didn't mention those other turnovers because that was those turnovers, some of them were pretty costly,
right,
and you never know. If he makes that three, he doesn't step out of bounds, well, maybe they get a little bit of momentum there. So,
right. And
but
those are momentum killers. And he had five
that's
turnovers in this
right.
game. Five
Yep.
turnovers, and
Yep.
most of them were unforced. Because, like we just
Correct.
said, those three were unforced. So he definitely
Yep.
has to do a better job at that. And another positive was Paul Reed. How about Paul Reed in the second quarter? Oh my goodness, he was
Yeah, you're right.
he was just embracing the out the mud, that out the mud catchphrase. I mean, he was diving on the floor for loose balls. He was going up for rebounds. He was being a bully down low. Um, and he was shooting a little bit of that pull up jump shot, and he was making
Was.
those. And Jaron
Yeah.
Jackson was kind of like backing down from him to shoot it. And it was like, yo, I just made two of them. You're gonna give me space for me to make another one. And he proved Jaron Jackson wrong, and he was still making them. And I think he had like 13 points going into the half and about 5 or 6 rebounds. So he was really dominating in that first half. I'll definitely give him that for sure.
Yeah, the one thing that we criticize about Paul Reed is that he gets into like a lot of foul trouble. I actually thought that he
Mhm.
made the right fouls at the really end, and I know that we'll talk about later on in the game in a little bit and like where this thing went wrong. But overall, this was one of the best Paul Reed games that he's had this season. He had a lot of offensive rebounds in that second quarter that were really awesome. There was a play I remember where he was getting double teamed down low after going up for a rebound, and he tipped it 3 times. Tipped it
Right.
3 times, and then finally caught it and gathered himself instead of just former ball b-ball Paul would just try to like go up with the little tip up and in, but
Hmm.
he decided, no, like, let me gather myself after I catch this, and I'm going to corral it, and then I'll try to put it up. And then if I get contact, if I get the whistle, it is what it is. If I don't get it, it is what it is. But that play right there, I thought was a really nice moment for Paul Reed. And I thought overall he actually was the second best thing that happened tonight.
Yeah, he definitely was. And what about Jeff Dalton Jr.? How do you think he played in this game? Because me personally, I thought he came in and he did a solid job, in my opinion.
Yeah, he had what? He had 3 steals. He also had a block.
Mhm.
This was like the total opposite of yesterday. Like,
Right.
I mean, he was playing defense. Like he looked really small out there yesterday. Like he was just not getting a lot of jump shots off. He was starting to get a little bit hot from three. He made some
Mhm.
plays. A nice little thing. He did a
Six
good
six
job off the
assists.
bench, and he had 10 points. Yeah, also
Right.
6 assists too. But I liked how he was getting guys involved in the offense. It wasn't Kyle Lowry esque, but you're not going to replace Kyle in these types of games. But I did think that he was another positive as well, and I kind of forgot about that because to be honest with you, the third quarter seemed like it was never going to end.
Yeah, which we're definitely gonna talk about the second half. But as you guys come in, please make sure you hit the like button. I'm on the um I'm on the live with my guy, play by play with JJ, one of the best commentators that I've ever listened to. I'm not trying to like gas him up or anything, but trust me, he's one of the best when it comes to play calls. But let's talk
I
about
love
that
you,
third
man.
quarter. Yeah, no
Yep.
problem. Let's talk about that third quarter and what went wrong for the 76ers, in your opinion.
Well, the third quarter wasn't really where things went wrong. I did think that there were a couple of times where I questioned Nick Nurse in regards to the lineups that he had out there in the third. But again, you have to understand that yes, they are undermanned. Yes, they don't have Lowry available. Yes, they don't have Maxi available, and even those guys. But I just was a little bit confused as to why Ricky Council the Fourth was not getting playing time in that second half. I am starting to really get annoyed by it. And I don't know if it's just a him problem when it comes to Nick Nurse, or if that's just all the coaches in the NBA when you have like a set contender, if you will, even though the Sixers are nowhere near as good without Joel and Tyrese. We all know that. But
Right.
I feel like that there were spots where Ricky could have came in, especially in that third quarter, where he could have gotten you some rebounds. He could have been really aggressive. He did come in at one point, but it was only for like 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
That was it.
Two, 3
That was
minutes.
it.
Right.
So I didn't really like that. The other thing I didn't like in regards to just the team overall in the third quarter was there was a certain moment in time, and I'm
Wait,
pulling
hold up.
this up.
Wait,
Oh
wait,
wait, what's
hold up
up?
for yeah, hold it for a second. I just want to speak on Nick Nurse
Go for
for
it. Go for
a
it.
second. So
Go for it.
yeah, a lot of guys in the Sixer fan base really think that Nick Nurse is playing favoritism by playing what you call it, Dalton Jr. more minutes. Because if you look at the score,
Yep.
if you look at the stat sheet, I think he played more minutes than Ricky Council the fourth. Now, I really wanted to see Ricky Council get a lot of burn in this game right here because he was going to be playing against most of these guys that are in the G League, most of these guys who are, have two-way contracts just like him. So
Correct.
I felt as though that if he had played him in this one and given him a lot of minutes, he definitely could have given you some level of production than what somebody else gave you, who we're going to talk about in just a few minutes. But I just feel as though, like, when you just ask a question, like, is there any team, like, when do teams really want to play certain guys? And I think I have a theory because I believe that any coach that is not any team that is not tanking, the coaches would definitely play the veteran players more than the youngsters.
Sure.
Nick Nurse does it. Ty Lue does it. Doc Rivers does it. Tom Thibodeau does it. Eric Spoelstra does it. Like
Greg
I have
Popovich does it too.
Greg Popovich does it too, but they're tanking right now, so that's why he's playing Jeremy Sohan and Victor Wembanyama and all those other guys, Devin Vassell. But
Right.
I get a lot of people from other fan bases telling me the same thing, that their coaches are not playing the young guys and they're only playing their veteran players, even
Sure.
though they have to give the young guys a lot of playing time. But I think the Sixers are not playing Ricky Council the fourth because they don't want to pay him. Now, somebody will ask me why don't the Sixers want to pay him? The Sixers don't want to pay him because they don't want to play him because they don't want to pay him. Because if you play him and he starts producing at a high level and you don't give him a contract, guess what happens? He can go sign an offer sheet with another team. And if he signs an offer sheet with another team, the Sixers will be forced to match it. If they don't match it, he can walk for free. That's the same thing that happened with Paul Reed when he went and signed that offer sheet with the Utah Jazz. And that's the same thing that happened with DeAndre Ayton when he went and signed that offer sheet with the Indiana Pacers. And these teams had no choice but to match it. But the only trick here with the Paul Reed contract is if the Sixers don't make it out the first round, his contract is not guaranteed for the next year. So the Sixers have to make the first round. But I just believe that they're not playing him because they just don't want to pay him for now, in my opinion. Now, I could be wrong. I'm not scared of being wrong, but that's how I see it, in my opinion.
The thing is, though, is that if they want to win, like if that's the mindset, like why wouldn't they play him just from like a team morale perspective? Like I understand that it's financial and that's like
Financial.
what you're saying,
Right.
but if they really do need to step up in these games and Toby's not getting rebounds like he should be and he's not being assertive and you need more physical athletic guys that can just play the game of basketball and just and literally just be ballers. So literally, that's all it is.
Right.
Then why not at least like try to like up his value maybe for another team and just help your team win now. Like that's how I look at it, and like that's my question that I have. But I understand like from your perspective and just from that little theory, I do kind of understand it. I
Mm-hmm.
still but I still ask the question, if their motto is to win now and they have to win these games without Joel so that they don't slide so badly, Don't you have to do like what you have to do? Like then why didn't
Absolutely.
Daryl go after a center? That
Right.
you understand like what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
that's really the question.
Yeah, it definitely is. It definitely is. But I mean, like I said, I could be wrong, and I hope I am wrong because I don't want the situation to be that they're only not playing him because of financial reasons. Because if that's the case, then you're just wasting everybody's time. You're wasting
Yep,
the time of the fan base because we're all expecting the team to win. We want the team to be successful. We want the team
for
to
sure.
be successful and be a contender in this Eastern Conference. So I just hope that's not the case. I just hope they're not wasting our time and they're doing whatever it can take to help this team to win. But let's get into the third quarter and like let's talk about certain things that happened in the third and let's dive a little bit in the fourth quarter. So, in your opinion, what do you think the Sixers did in the third quarter that made them gain that 15-point lead? In your opinion?
Well, campaign was making a lot of plays. They had a
Mm-hmm.
lot of really nice little dribble handoffs, and I saw them get into their offensive sets a little bit more, which I thought was nice. Payne had 6 assists. I thought that there were a couple of nice plays that Oubre had. He was really in attack mode in that third quarter too. He's played some nice defense. Reed was really physical in that third quarter and he just kept boxing out Jaren Jackson Jr. as best as he possibly could. I really thought that both of those things were really uh, a big boost for them. And also Batum had a couple of like big shots. He had a 3 that was in the third quarter. And I thought that shot was big. And the other thing that I really liked was I liked
You can see my screen, right?
Yep.
You can
Yep,
see
I
the
can
box score
see
and
it.
everything? Okay,
Oh
good.
yeah. Oh yeah. I can
Good.
see everything.
All right.
But the other thing is that the rebounding was really good by Paul Reed, I would say.
It definitely was. It really helped us. It really helped us because we were at some point getting killed on the boards, but with him being down there, he helped get us a lot of rebounds, in my opinion. And
Yeah,
Jaren Jackson, he's a big man. He's 6'11", so he just did the best he could to make sure he kept him off the offensive glass, and he did it to the best of his abilities. Now, I'm not blaming Paul Reed by any stretch of the imagination. It wasn't his fault that the Sixers lost this game, even though he fouled out. Like I said, he did the best he could. Now, going up against an all-star caliber player like Jaren Jackson Jr. is always going to be a tough task. Even though
for
he's
sure.
not at 100%, he still is. He still can give you some level of trouble if you're
Oh yeah.
not at your if you're not playing him at your best. And he definitely showed it. He dropped 30 points. I think 14 or 13 rebounds. So he was absolutely dominant. And at some points, Paul Reed couldn't really do much with him, and I think that really hurt the Sixers in the long run.
That's the type of power forward that the Sixers need, and it was honestly just disappointing when
Absolutely.
like when you're actually watching him, you hear about him, but because Memphis is not really like a big market, there's not really a lot of like primetime games for them. Plus, they're not getting the buzz because of Ja, Desmond Bain,
Yeah, they have a lot of
all
players
those
hurt
guys
too.
like Brandon Clark being out, all those guys
Hmm.
it's just like Jaron Jackson Jr. and all these G leaguers. Like with all due respect, it is crazy.
Yeah,
The
call it like
one
it
thing
is.
I wish. Sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, go ahead. I was just saying, call it how it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Well, that's exactly what I do.
Yeah.
In the third and really in the fourth quarter too. With all due respect, Jake LaRavia.
Oh my goodness.
A guy that averages 2.6 rebounds per game, 5.8 points per game. Again, there's always these guys that just do so well against this team. And it is
For
so frustrating because another guy that's just a nice ball player that can just grab rebounds, that can just hustle and make big plays when you need him to, and just be an actual role player. He made some nice threes. I remember in that third quarter, he had a block and he had a couple of big defensive rebounds. He got a lot of offensive rebounds in the fourth quarter, and I'm sure, going to get more into that. But in the third quarter, he started to really get things going. And G.G. Jackson as well in that third quarter was a rebounding machine just coming off the bench. Like, again, these athletic forwards that they have, you got to match up with them in size. Like, it's not rocket science. And the Sixers are not constructed that way, but that's why I'm wondering why, again, because basketball-wise, it makes sense to have Ricky Council the fourth out there to go up against these bigger guys.
Right. Absolutely. So. And, yeah, you definitely needed somebody who could match their athleticism, that could match them, getting rebounds. And like you said, if Ricky Council was out there, his athleticism, his rebounding ability, I mean, he would have definitely helped the Sixers at the rebounding department instead of playing most of these, quote unquote, old guys. So I definitely agree with you over there on that point right there. So, yeah, but
what is wrong? What is wrong with this pick and roll defense? I cannot understand over these last 3-4 games. They just get pants when it comes to guarding the pick and roll. And Williams Jr. again tonight was just another one of those guys that just kept spamming it, and the Sixers just couldn't even stop it.
Right. And just like you said, I don't know why. And the Sixers, I don't know if they go over this in practice. I mean, I've never watched them practice like you have watched them practice, but that was under different coaching under Doc Rivers.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, they're having trouble guarding the pick and roll. And in certain instances, there would be certain times where somebody, the ball handler, and it was just like, you could just ice the screen right here. And, or sometimes you could have just hedged over the screen and forced them backwards to kind of like get set or pick up his dribble. But the Sixers were not doing that. And let me take it back to against the Brooklyn Nets. And Dennis Schroeder in the fourth quarter was just blowing past guys in just one dribble. Now, my coaches always told me that you can get blown by sometimes. People can drive past you, but make sure people don't drive past you with just one dribble. Like, that's a defensive sin. It definitely is a defensive sin. And if you play for Aaron McKee, shout out to Aaron McKee, former 76er player. If you get blown by in one dribble, he'll probably bench you you're probably not going to play anymore because, like I said, it's a defensive sin. And for whatever reason, these Sixers guys, they can't guard the pick and roll. They can't guard their man. They just get blown by every single time. Tobias Harris getting blown by Dennis Schroeder multiple times, and Mo Bamba, and it's just frustrating to watch. And into tonight's game, it was also frustrating to watch as well. You can't guard the pick and roll. You don't know when to ice. I don't know if they even know what icing the screen means or hedging over a screen. I don't know if they even know what that means. And sometimes Jaren Jackson was the ball handler, and he was initiating the pick and roll. And it was like, just ball pressure, force him to pick up his dribble when he was driving through gaps. Like, stunts and recover. Help him recover back to your man. But they were not doing that, and that really, really frustrated me, especially with Tobias Harris. Now, I'm not gonna go on Tobias Harris. I'm not gonna go off on him. I know you're gonna do that, so I'll just let you take it over from here. You can take it over.
Yeah, let's I think this is a great segue to the fourth quarter because let's be realistic. Did you really think that the Sixers were actually going to collapse in that fourth quarter? I didn't. I didn't see it coming.
Right. But I didn't either.
Okay,
let me just get into these comments right here.
Go for it.
And so shout out to Thomas Talents. Hey, we're not talking about the Hawks right now, Thomas. But shout out to you though. Shout out to Thomas.
Hey, this game did make me think about the Atlanta Hawks. Thank God it wasn't a 27-point lead or a 25-point lead in a game 5. Because that was a meltdown.
Definitely was. Shout out to the Pull Up Basketball Podcast, man. Shout out to BJ Matthews. Shout out to Rick Masters. The entire Pull Up family, man. Y'all put me on. So every time I come on, I gotta definitely show my respect. But shout out to you, BJ. I appreciate you stopping by. And he says, I guess we're not the only ones blowing big leads, huh? Nah, but listen though, the Clippers blew a 21-point lead. We blew a 15-point lead, which a 15-point lead is terrible.
The Celtics just blew a 24-point lead.
Exactly, and within 8 minutes. So I mean, I guess there's no lead safe in the NBA, but let's
No.
just get into the fourth quarter right here, and
Yeah.
let's talk about what went wrong for the 76ers.
Okay, so number one was I get that you have to take Paul Reed out, because he's in foul trouble, but the fact, why are we going to these small ball lineups? Like, at that point, I know that Mo Bamba is not going to give you like a lot, but I still am going down swinging. And why, with 5 minutes left, I was really annoyed that Kelly was our tallest guy out there and we're playing these small ball lineups. It reminds me of putting Mike Scott out there. And I thought we were over that. And that
Yeah,
just
Kelly
pisses
Oubre
me
and
off.
KJ Martin.
Yeah.
I think KJ Martin was the small ball center at that time. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Jaren Jackson was
Yep,
just
you're
bullying.
right.
He was just bullying us down low, grabbing offensive rebounds, and
He was.
is it Latvia, whatever? I don't want to butcher. I'm not trying to butcher his name. Let me make sure I get the name right.
No. It is LaRavia, but it's just
LaRavia?
funny
Okay.
because who would have thunk?
Right.
Who
And
would have
like you said, is these random guys who always, when they play the 76ers, they start going off. You got Davis,
Sam Hauser.
Sam Hauser was going off on us. Davis Bertans was going off on us. Derrick Jones Jr., who's an athletic, a dunker, out of nowhere starts making threes. Right. And it's just like, what the hell's going on? But the 76ers, let's talk about Tobias Harris right here. And they're going off on him on Twitter. They're going off on him on Facebook, Instagram, every social media platform that I'm on. And it's very nasty. It is nasty.
It is so toxic. And honestly, I don't want to say that I know he's a nice guy and I know that he means really well, but when you're getting paid that money, but also just B, we know what Tobias can do when he has an on night. And like when you're putting up 25, 33, like when you're putting up both of those numbers on like back-to-back nights and then you go down to 8, it's just so annoying because he just goes back into his old ways and he does not attack the rim. He looks scared. He's going up against Jaren Jackson Jr. You put a bigger forward on him, and he's not going to be assertive. He's not going to go down with a charge. He's not going to sacrifice his body. And that really is disappointing because you thought that we were over this by now. And people, some people are like, oh, well, like he's been showing this for like years and years. I feel like this year it's gotten to such an extreme where it's really been such an Achilles heel for the Philadelphia 76ers. And if he's playing like this, I don't care if Joel's back or not, this is going to cost the team in so many different ways. 3 for 12 from the field. There was a time I remember where I was a little bit confused why Jackson fouled him because he was like he was going downhill. He wasn't looking at the rim. And then he takes 5 steps backwards and then Jackson fouls him. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, as a defender, you're watching this guy. And if you've been watching him and if you know about him, you know that he's going to probably be afraid of you because you have 6 blocks down low. Toby's not going to do that out of all people. Heck no. He's not, he's not even going to sniff you. So why foul him there? That was just a little side topic. But no, he was atrocious tonight. And I don't understand why he is still getting the playing time that he's getting, even though I get that they're still undersized. It's just so frustrating. And another night where, he has a chance to try to put the team on his back at the end and try to make some plays for other people. Just do like a little, fadeaway, turnaround jumper that he does, not even going to that shot. So it's just really annoying.
Yeah, and just like you said, Tobias, he did have a terrible night. 8 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists. If I look at his field goal percentage right here, he was 3 for 12 from the field. That's 25%. That is so horrible. Now I've been defending Tobias these past few weeks, and I had a conversation with you, I think off the air, and you gave the idea that we should like give him a standing ovation to kind of like get his confidence up. And
Yeah,
I think he also had a conversation with I think Joel Embiid, and
he
Embiid
did.
was kind of like encouraging him to get his confidence. He was like encouraging him to so he could play well and not for him not to be in his head too much. I think he had a conversation with Maxey too, and he came out against the Charlotte Hornets and had a was it 31, 32 points per
Mm-hmm.
game. So
31.
I thought he got out of his shooting slump, and then against the Dallas Mavericks, he drops 28, and he really helped the Sixers, and he absolutely rebounded the basketball at a higher rate, and that helped the Sixers to beat the Dallas Mavericks too. But tonight, the triple single, I can't. There's no way for me to defend that. And had he had a better game, had he, been more aggressive and going downhill. I mean, I know that's not his game. His game is to get on the block and take advantage of mismatches and go to work. And I saw him doing that against Luke Kennard. Shout out to Luke Kennard, one of the best 3-point shooters. And
Yep.
yeah, he just didn't take advantage of it. And you would think that being guarded by he was primarily guarded by this player. I'm kind of forgetting his name. Number 7. Yeah, I don't even know these players' names because they're not really known to the
Santi
public.
Aldama.
Aldama, right? Aldama, and
He was
Aldama.
also hurting us down the stretch too, by the
Yeah,
way.
Aldama was hurting us, but Tobias should have really taken advantage of Aldama being slow because he's not that quick. He's not that good defensively, and I really wanted Tobias to take him off the dribble. I wanted Tobias to get to the basket. I was looking for Tobias to make plays down the stretch to help the Sixers win, but he wasn't really doing that. And
No.
Buddy Hield was also not really helping us if you really think about it. He had 2 plays where he blew 2 layups, and I'm like, bro, you should be finishing these layups. I don't know if the trailing defender was he was scared of the trailing defender behind him and just smoking layups. I mean, against Brooklyn, he was smoking layups, and I was like, that's all. That's all good. I mean, it's just one play. I'm not thinking anything of it, but he comes into this game right here, and yeah, he did shoot good from the 3. I think he was like 3 for 7.
Yep.
3 for 7 from the 3.
He was efficient.
Yeah, he was efficient from the 3, but from the field itself, he was not efficient. He was 35%. And if we're gonna give Tobias Harris some blame, we definitely have to give Buddy Hield some blame too as well.
I need him when Tyrese Maxey doesn't play because Tyrese takes the shots.
Right.
The one reason why we brought in Buddy Hield is to just take shots. And he only attempted 2 shots in that second half. And I feel like this is now like the 3rd game in a row where he just goes quiet because he's not attempting threes like I feel like he should. I really do feel that. This was a guy who at some points this season he was averaging like shooting 9 per game. And I know that he had 7 tonight, but with Tyrese Maxey not being there and no Kyle Lowry and no Joel Embiid, you have to take the shots.
Absolutely.
And if Toby's being really, really cold, like that's no excuse. And I think that part of the reason why he's not doing so is because I don't think Nick Nurse is in his ear enough in regards to that. But I really do believe that he, in this situation tonight, I was saying to myself, I'm hoping he takes a lot of shots tonight because I need him to just shoot. I need him to just catch and shoot. And they didn't really do a good job at guarding him. And some of the times I'm okay with him driving it to the basket. I know that he can do it, but sometimes I thought he was getting a little bit too fancy with it. And he probably should have just taken the 3 and simplified the game a little bit more. That's just how I look at it. But in regards to just the overall game tonight, yeah, I know he had a clutch 3 down the stretch, to try to give them like a 2-point deficit, cut the deficit to 2. But I need him to just take more shots, especially in this type of a game here.
Right. And just like you said, he's a volume shooter. And
yeah,
when he got here at first, he was taking like 9 threes, 10 threes, and he was really, really efficient with it. But I mean, I could we could make a little bit of an excuse for him because we didn't have Tyrese Maxey out there, an elite shot creator out there, and he really needs somebody to create shots for him. and we didn't really run enough plays for him to, get him wide open for threes. I think when he got here at first, I was seeing a lot of screens. I was seeing a lot of, pin down action, flare screens,
Sure.
floppy actions, and what have you. But
Yep.
these last few games, it's like we're not really seeing that, and we can question Nick Nurse when it comes to that. We can definitely question Nick Nurse, but we definitely need Buddy Hield to take a lot of threes if we're going to win games, especially with Tyrese Maxey being out and Joel Embiid being out.
Yep.
Let me get.
100%.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
No, I literally just agreed with you. Just 100,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, let me get into these comments right here. Shout out to Bruce Morrow. He said the crying emoji. Yeah, we definitely are crying. We're in the playing tournament, so we gotta definitely figure that out. BJ, okay, yeah. He said, "What up, BJ? Hello, Andre. Hello, Bruce. How's it going?" The Clippers did play tonight, and they played the Houston Rockets. I mean, I don't know how that game ended, but I think they did play the Houston Rockets. But no comment.
They won by 6.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, the Clippers won, but the Golden State Warriors lost. Bruce, I still didn't forget about that. It's like I'm just playing with you, but yeah, let's talk about in the clutch and the Sixers' lack of execution and lack of rebounding, and how everything collapsed for the Sixers at
All right, so
on the stretch.
I'm looking at the fourth quarter right now. I have to be reminded of this absolute atrocity. So Jaren Jackson Jr. Let me tell you something, okay? People forget that he left the game and went back to the tunnel at the end of the third quarter just to get checked out. You figured that if he came back, he was going to have fire in him. And you know what they kept doing? Taylor Jenkins was like, okay, now is when we got to get our guy going. And just like what the Sixers do with Joel Embiid, just giving him the ball down low on the block and literally just
get out the way.
Just get out the way. That's what they did. And that was the difference. They set that up first. Jackson makes a couple of he makes a hook shot, then he gets a dunk to go. And then the Sixers really couldn't stop the offense until 2 minutes into the fourth quarter. And then after that, Ricky gets fouled and he goes to the line. And then they give the ball back to Jackson and he finally hits his first three. He was 0 for 5 from 3 before that shot, I remember. And now all of a sudden it's a 6-point game. And then G.G. Jackson comes in and he makes a dunk because Jackson Jr., I remember this correctly, just like you said before, they had him being the point guard at some of the points in the game, especially in that fourth quarter. And G.G. Jackson was the guy that was down low on the block, and he made them pay. But I really thought that they lost this game because they didn't have an answer for Jaren Jackson Jr. And good job by Taylor Jenkins to just go with that type of a game plan, because when the Sixers do it with Joel Embiid, it works. And now you're setting up Jackson Jr., and he's also playing really good on the defensive side. He's getting blocks, and everybody's confidence goes up. And now guys like freaking G.G. Jackson and Jake LaRavia, out of all people, are just feeling this. And then Luke Kennard starts to join in on the party, and now he's hitting threes, and now he's hitting, step back jumpers, and the Sixers just don't ever respond. And that was on coaching. That was coaching right there. That was Taylor Jenkins doing a good job at just adjusting on the fly. So that's where they lost it, in my opinion. And then Toby just doesn't come up clutch, and they're setting up all these plays. At this point, I don't understand why they're setting up so many plays for Tobias Harris. Just stop. Just stop at this point, man. I'm sorry.
No, let it all out. Pause if necessary.
That it's just so annoying every single time Okay, like, why don't we set up a play for Buddy Hield? It's not working out for Toby. Toby's scared to even dribble like 2 steps into the lane against a monster in Jaren Jackson Jr., who's like Michael Jordan in this game. And, like, with all due respect, like, I love Jaren Jackson Jr., but I mean, like, he's literally like the Joel Embiid of this game because nobody could stop him. The
Nobody can
Sixers don't
stop
have
him.
size. Like, why just give the ball to Toby? Why can't we just have guys on the perimeter set up plays? And then if they play good defense on us, all right, fine.
Oh, you
Why
took
are
your
we
ass
still
for them.
driving?
Right, right. I was asking myself the same question because down the stretch, we were really having, difficulties generating offense. And
Yep.
give a lot of credit to the Memphis Grizzlies. They played great defense. They was getting on the boards. LaRavia was, grabbing a lot of boards, and he was killing us on the offensive glass as well. And the Sixers we were playing small ball at that point, and that's when KJ Martin picked up his sixth foul, and Paul Reed came in, and he also fouled out, and he was so frustrated after he fouled out. And his foul, I can understand it because he got the ball, he got the offensive rebound, but somehow, some way, he just lost it. And you could tell it was just a desperation foul. And I think he didn't realize that was a sixth foul, and he had to sit out. And he was so frustrated because he wasn't going to be out there to help his team win the game. But yeah, I was definitely questioning myself why Nick Nurse is constantly trying to put the ball in Tobias Harris's hands. I mean, he was scared. He was just, like you said, he was just scared. It would have been better if we was running plays for Buddy Hield, and we would have seen what he would have done. I mean, he hit that big three to cut the lead to 2. So if we had been running plays for him, we probably could have, won this game if you really think about it. But Nick Nurse being Nick Nurse, following his coaching staff, and not going with Tobias Harris and not going or drawing plays for other players. It was just terrible, man. And Nick Nurse definitely has to look at this game right here and ask himself some questions. I mean, if Tobias doesn't have it going in the future games, should I still keep running plays for him, or let me just try somebody out? Let me try running the play for Buddy Hield, or let me try running the play for Cameron Payne or somebody else and see what they could give me on the offensive end.
I just don't understand why. Like we see the pattern, right? Like we understand that Toby is gonna come out of the shadows for 1 to 2 games, maybe 3, and then he's just gonna go back to his old ways. Do you
Right.
remember Jonathan Gannon? I know that this is like so recently, and this is a little bit off topic, but you'll see where I'm going with this. Remember Jonathan Gannon for the
Mm-hmm.
Eagles,
Right.
defensive coordinator, right?
Yeah.
Now head coach for the Arizona Cardinals, almost said the
Cardinals.
Diamondbacks. Screw Arizona. Philadelphia fans don't like Arizona right now. But
Right.
the whole thing is that Gannon was like last year, he was so polarizing because he would go back to his soft coverage at times. And when he was going back to all the soft coverages and not playing man to man and playing more of a zone defense, well, that was really bad for the Eagles defense. And then all of a sudden, well, now they're blitzing more. And now they're actually like doing a good job at just providing pressure up front. And he does that. And we know that that's not his tendencies, but then he goes back to his old ways and goes back to this soft coverage because he feels like it's a genius type of a defense. And what do you know? He lets up 33 points to some of these really, really bad teams. And now Jalen Hurts has to go out there and score 40. Like,
Right.
come on. It's the same exact thing with Tobias Harris. Just
Mm-hmm.
going back to the old ways, being afraid to be aggressive, not finishing strong at the rim, not even taking threes. Do you realize that his 3-point attempts are down, like compared
Yeah.
to even years
Career low.
past?
Yeah, I think it's a career low this year.
It
Yeah.
is. It is. I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't know why that is. And in this game right here, he took 4 threes and he made only one of them. But yeah, like we said, it's a career low. He's not, and you would think that playing with Joel, you would definitely have a ton of space and a ton of wide open 3-point looks to make threes. But Tobias Harris that's not the case for him for whatever reason. I don't know, man. Tobias is just. I mean, I'm just glad that this is last year and he comes off the books. Hopefully, they don't sign him to another
I don't know
horrendous.
about that.
Hopefully, they don't sign him to another horrendous contract. I mean, he's so cool with Daryl Morey in the front office. So, I mean, they might probably sign him again, but uh, just don't sign him to a huge contract where he has to be a huge contributing factor on this team right here because it's not gonna work. It hasn't worked. If it was gonna work, it would have been worked. But him being a third option is not gonna work. Him being a fourth option is not gonna work because you can't even dominate the Memphis Grizzlies over here. So if you can't dominate the Memphis Grizzlies, you definitely can't dominate tougher competition in the playoffs. And it's just we just have to live with it at this point. We don't have to, put faith in them. I mean, me personally, I have my own expectations for him. If he scores 25 points, I think that's a bonus. But me personally, I just expect him to score between 15 and 17 points, which is so terrible considering that he's getting paid almost 40 million. And for a guy that has that contract, you would expect him to, produce more, especially when Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey's out. But he probably has one of the worst contracts. Him and the light skin, the
Jalen
six
Brown.
foot ten, the 6'10" light skin guy. I don't want to mention his name on my platform. The 6'10" light skin guy.
Yes.
Yeah, those two have one of the worst contracts in the NBA. But Tobias Harris not helping us. Definitely was a huge detriment to why we didn't win this game and why we weren't able to hold on to the 15-point lead. I think if we had somebody in Tobias Harris's in replace of Tobias Harris, we possibly could have won this game tonight, in my opinion.
1,000%. It's just at this point. I know it is what it is, but let's be real. We have games that we have to win, and we have to win these games because we really don't want to be in this play-in tournament.
Right.
And I just don't like the idea of your head coach going out there and potentially like waving the white flag. I actually had problems with him last night too. Like down the stretch, you have to miss the free throws. You have to try to go down swinging. You have to put in Paul Reed and Mo Bamba. Not a lot of people were talking about it, but these games matter now. And if you are in a dogfight to try to get a fourth through an eighth seed, and you really want to stay out of this play-in tournament, and Joel is supposed and Joel seems like he's making a lot of progress according to the team and according to reports that are out there in a positive direction. I want to make it as stress free as possible for that
Right.
guy.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
That's
And
why this is frustrating.
yeah, it sure is. But the last thing I want us to get into is the Sixers schedule for the month of March.
Oh, good
Let's
luck.
yeah, let's just take a look at it and let's make our predictions and we can get up out of here.
Okay, let's do
Yeah.
it.
So right. So you can see my screen, right?
I cannot see your screen.
What?
Nope. You have to press the presents.
Share this out instead. Got you. All right. You can see it now?
Nope.
Oh my goodness. But I mean, I could just tell you
Technology.
who. Yeah, it happens. Definitely.
I hate technology sometimes.
It happens, but I think I got it right here. Good. You can see
There
it
it
now.
is.
Good.
Yep.
So yeah,
Okay.
we lost back to back. Lost to the Brooklyn Nets. We lost to the Memphis Grizzlies tonight. So on Friday we take on the New Orleans Pelicans, who the first time we played them without Joel, and Zion
We
Williamson
lost.
absolutely destroyed us in the paint. He was, I think, he was 10 for 10 in that game because we had to play Marcus Morris Sr. at the center position, and he just licked his chops and he went to work. So it could be a repetition of that on Friday, in my opinion. So we're probably gonna lose that game, in my opinion. And then we play the Knicks. I mean, what do you think about that?
I'll be honest with you. If I'm Nick Nurse, I'm sitting Toby the next 4 games.
Ooh.
Like, he has to face Zion, then possibly maybe, I don't know when Julius Randle's coming back. but possibly you have to go up against him. And then you got to play Bobby Portis or Giannis. Good luck. Good
Yeah,
luck with those
we
matchups.
played Milwaukee on Sunday, and he had a terrible game in that one too. So yeah, these next 4 games are not really in our favor. We probably could.
I'm penciling them in as losses. I'm being
Yeah, we could
honest.
potentially lose all these games. We definitely need Maxey out there. We need Maxey and Kyle Lowry out there. If we don't have those two guys, we're definitely going to lose those games. I mean, I know we're definitely losing to the Pelicans for sure, but the Knicks, I think we can split that. We can definitely win that game on Tuesday. I believe that. But against Milwaukee, we're not going to win that. And we play the Charlotte Hornets, which I mean, we could win that. I mean, he dominated the Charlotte Hornets the first time. He dropped 31 points. And then we play the Miami Heat, the Miami Cheat. And I call it the Miami Cheat because they're always cheating. But yeah, we play the Miami Heat, and man, I don't know, man. It's just tricky. And then we have the next 4 games on the road.
Yeah, you got to play LeBron and AD. That's going to be tough. Phoenix, you're playing KD and Devin Booker. Good luck. James Harden, the first game. Jeez.
Oh my goodness! And we have some Clipper. I have my Clipper family in here.
They could go on. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was going to say they could literally lose like 12 out of their next 14 games.
Dang.
They could. I'm not like writing that out of there.
Yeah, you're definitely absolutely right. And yeah, I mean, considering how they're playing, they definitely could potentially lose all these games. I mean, we're like I said, we're unhealthy. We definitely need some players out there. We need some shot creators out there. We definitely need Embiid. I mean, Embiid just does so much for this team that when he sits out, you could see the team's weaknesses, and it's not even funny. I mean, with what he does on the basketball court, in my opinion, I think he should be MVP every year. Because trust me,
I'm laughing because you said it's not even funny, but it is funny because it's not even funny.
Yo, if Jokic doesn't play for the Nuggets, trust me, they're still going to be competitive. But if Embiid misses games, you just see the weaknesses of this team, and it's not even funny.
No, it's not.
But yeah, I mean, in the month of March, I really thought we were gonna, have a better month because in February we only won 4 games. We were 4 of 8. We only played 12 games in the month of February, and we only won 4 out of those. So I was thinking
it's just a shame that all the easy games were at the beginning of the year. Like the first 14 games, they were playing against teams that were under 500. I remember that. Like besides the Milwaukee game and maybe a couple of Boston here and there. But a lot of the games that they played were just against the bottom feeders. And it's like, well, if you knew that Joel was going to get injured during January, like it happens every single year, can't the NBA just be nice to us? Like, why can't we have nice things? I don't get it.
Talk about it.
I don't get it. Just be friendly to us. Like, why do you hate Philly? Golly.
Yeah, they always screw us up when it comes to the schedule. I don't know why.
Dude, how many traveling back-to-backs have we had this year? I'm so sorry. This is atrocious. Traveling back-to-backs need to be like a once-in-a-blue moon type of a thing. It happens almost every single 2 weeks with this team.
Right. And when you have to travel through multiple time zones and go have to play a game, I mean, when you talk about this, people just say, "Oh, you're complaining, you're soft. This error is soft. This error is this error is that." But I mean, it's just a reality if you really think about it. Now, if you're playing back to backs and you're at home, that's a little bit fine. But I mean, when you're playing traveling back to backs, when you have to leave Philly, then you have to go to Minnesota. I think we had a back to back. We had to play the Timberwolves.
And then we had to come home and play the Celtics.
Right. And it was just like, come on, like, what are we doing?
It was a play-in game too.
What are we doing? But I mean, yeah, it is what it is. But you have to, go through it because you have no other choice. But in the month of March, I don't think the schedule is really in the favor of the Sixers. And they really want to win these games. They have to play better. Tobias I know he's not going to be better, but at least you have to be better. You have to have some type of pride to, Maxi's out and Embiid's out, you have to have some type of pride to come out here and try to dominate and impose your will on the game. If not, the Sixers will definitely be in the play-in tournament. And if the Sixers are going to be in the play-in tournament, I don't think Embiid should return, in my opinion. I don't know what you think about it.
First of all, like the fact that they have 20 games left in this season, that's crazy. That's thing number one.
Mm-hmm.
Thing number two, in regards to that, I think that he should return. I don't think he should return in regards to his health. Like I get that, but I also and again the narratives are the narratives, but guess what the narrative is going to be if he doesn't come back? It's going to be negative.
Right. It always is. So it always, the narratives are always negative. And, with these, especially these Nuggets fans who I can't really stand. I mean, there are some Nuggets fans who are, for the most part, they're sensible. They really think, but some of these Nuggets fans are just, oh, he's ducking this player, he's ducking Jokic, and I mean, he played him in Philly, he didn't duck him, and it was like, and they're like, oh, he has to play him in he has to play him in Denver. He has Jokic has to get his Jokic has to get his payback. I'm like, no. It's only listen, when I get to play somebody one time, I'm giving it everything I had. I don't care where I play you at. I don't care if I play on the prison yard, in a high school gym, at a college facility. Like, yo, you're getting this work. So when you get that one opportunity, you got to give it everything you have. But
1,000%.
These Nuggets fans, when Embiid destroys Jokic in Philly, oh, it's a regular season game. We have to see him do it in the playoffs. But if they roll him out, then the narrative is he's ducking Jokic, which I never understood. I mean, it's a double standard, which I don't know why people try to do that. But hey, if you want to do it, just have at it.
That they didn't put him on the injury report before the game and they waited 5 minutes. Like that still doesn't make sense to me. I don't want to live in the past, but if they said that something wasn't right 5 minutes beforehand and yet he comes back out and he eventually plays again, what the heck? Because I feel it was way too soon that that he came back, and I don't know. Like this, it's a trap either way.
Right, it definitely was. Let me read these last comments, and we can get into our final thoughts, and we can get up out of here. Bruce has no comments. I mean, yeah, the Sixers are terrible. I mean, the Sixers, no comments here. BJ
My boy said that he was speechless after the game.
I definitely was.
And then he comes onto a podcast with me, and he's like, "Well, let me talk it up for an hour and 2 minutes because I was speechless, but now I actually have a lot to say." Like it's a good thing. I love it.
Yeah, it didn't even
I love it. That's exactly why I love you.
It didn't even feel like an hour, to be honest with you. But
I know it's crazy.
The Pull Up Basketball podcast said we came back from 20. Oh, so the Houston Rockets blew a 20-point lead. That's interesting. That is interesting. Shout out to Just Win Baby Podcast, T Sweezy. Appreciate you for stopping by, T.
The James Harden stands are going off tonight, I'm sure.
Yeah, there are a couple of Harden stands in the comment section right here. I mean, they're not Harden stands; they're Clipper fans. But I mean, Harden plays for the Clippers, so they definitely are going to have his back. But I mean, we're Sixer fans, and he asked to be traded. So I mean, bro, let's be honest. Sixer fans some Sixer fans, let me put it that way, because I mean, I want the Clippers to be successful. Some Sixer fans don't want the Clippers to be successful, and I'll just put it that way. I don't know if you're a part of them, but I have heard some Sixer fans say, I don't care about the Clippers. I don't want them to win anything because I don't want Harden to win anything. But I mean, it's just funny to me. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a basketball game. But let me hear your final thoughts and what you think the Sixer team could do to win games, to be competitive, and how we could win games, and especially the game on Friday against the New Orleans Pelicans.
Just literally go call the Chicago Bulls and and literally just be like, guys, I will pay you like $500,000. You can have the best cookies. You can have the best soft pretzels. You can have the best cheesesteaks every time you come here. Just give us Drummond. My gosh, like we need rebounders. Like
Yeah, and I'm
it is
just
so clear.
it definitely is. And I'm just laughing at it, but it's a serious issue. The Sixers have literally no rebounders,
They have
and
none,
watching
none.
them watching the Sixers with KJ Martin playing the center position and watching Nico at 35 years old try to battle for position against Jaren Jackson Jr. It's just come on, Kelly Oubre battling for position at the 5 when we actually have a 7-foot on the bench, but we all know why he's not getting any playing time because he's absolutely terrible. So he can't get on the court. He can't guard the rim. He can't grab any rebounds, but he's 7 foot.
The
He's
only
seven
thing he
foot for
does is
nothing.
tip basketballs. Like that's it. Like
Exactly. Exactly. It's just the Sixers. We really need rebounding. We really need rebounders,
it's
and
never money.
we're not even boxing out.
No,
We're not
No.
even boxing out.
no.
So I mean, yeah, the Sixers they definitely need rebounding, and at this point, I
Yeah.
think Embiid is our only hope because he's our only
Yeah.
rebounder on the team. I mean,
That's
Tobias
it.
Harris can give you double-digit rebounding from time to time, but um, for
It's
the most
against
part, he's
smaller
not going to give
guards.
you that. Yeah, yeah. And Nick Nurse has to do a better job coaching too. You have to play Ricky Council the fourth.
Yeah, no excuse.
No excuses. You have to
No
play Ricky
excuse.
Council the fourth. You got to give him some playing time. Let us see what he could bring to us. Let's see what he can produce for us. And if he's terrible, I mean, yeah, when he got in the game, he had that terrible travel, and I was
He
saying,
did.
I was saying in my head that Nick Nurse might yank him out. I mean, yeah,
And
when
he
you get
missed
in
two
the
free
game,
throws in a row. I
yeah, he
remember
missed his
that
free
too.
throws. And it's like when you get in the game, just don't give the coach a reason to take you out the game because already you're playing limited minutes. So you don't want to give Nick
You're on the
Nurse
hot seat.
yeah, you
Right.
don't want to give him reasons to why he should bench you. Same thing with Paul Reed when what he was doing last year with Doc Rivers. Like, yo, there are certain shots you shouldn't be taking. If you take these shots, he's gonna take you out the game. So when you get in
Right.
the game, just try to do the just do the basic things. Don't try to
Right.
overcomplicate stuff. Don't try to make fancy passes. I mean, if it works, fine, but just don't try it because if it doesn't work, you would definitely get benched. And Ricky Council didn't really help himself with that travel and missing 2 free throws. So those are reasons why a coach will not, play a player. And in my opinion, it's just terrible, so
Yeah.
terrible.
Yep. I agree.
Yeah, but
1000%.
yeah, but I think the Sixers, man, it's just sad, bro. Because I really thought we were gonna win tonight, but that was not the case. Um, they absolutely they show some some level of effort, like we said in the second quarter. Paul Reed was getting everything out the mud, um, doing the dirty work for us. Diving for loose balls, setting screens, getting offensive rebounds, getting second chance opportunities, and we absolutely capitalized on that. But in the fourth quarter is where everything went south for the Sixers. And Jaren Jackson Jr. showed us why he was an all-star and the former defensive player of the year. And there's nothing we could do about it because he's a big man, 6 foot 11, 7 foot, and the only guy that we had out there playing the center position is 6'7". So that right there should tell you why we lost this game because we didn't have anybody to battle down low for position and keep Jaren Jackson Jr. off the glass, and we lost this game. But that's all I have. That's But before we get
I'm
up out of here, JJ, just let them know where they can find you, your social media handles, your YouTube channel, and everything, and let's get up out of here.
Before I do that, I just want to say that I think I'm going to start a campaign called La 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 Ravia. Like we have this we used to do this thing when I was in a Jewish a youth group. We had some people that were from Latvia, and they would say La La Latvia as like a little rally. So La 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 Ravia. like that. I don't know. I don't know why that just came to my head. I'm tired,
Yeah. I mean,
but
I don't know if is he from Latvia? Because I mean,
no. Well, he went to Well, he went to Wake Forest. I know that he is from.
he's
He's
from
from
California.
Indianapolis.
Oh, I thought he was from California.
No, no, he's from
Okay.
Indianapolis. He's a
Yeah, his name
rookie.
does sound like Latvia. I mean, I almost I did call him Latvia, but yeah, but yeah, let me just leave it to you. Just
Yeah.
yeah.
Dude, first of all, thanks so much for having me on here. I really do appreciate it. If you guys want to follow me on all my socials, you can check me out on Facebook. We're on Instagram as well. If you type in play by play with JJ on all those platforms, even on Twitter, on TikTok, on YouTube, we're all over. We're definitely God. We're everywhere all at once. That sounds a little bit creepy, but yes. Oh man, but no, thanks again so much for having me on here, man. I really do
Man, it's
appreciate
my
that.
pleasure for having you on my platform. You're literally
You're the
the first
best.
person on my platform. Like I said,
That's
one of the
that's
best.
incredible.
Yeah, one of the best play-by-play announcers that I listen to. Sometimes I actually listen to I listen to your commentary at work. I listen to your commentary sometimes with the game, and I
Oh,
turn off.
thanks, man.
Sometimes I don't even listen to Katie Scott. I just I just mute it and listen to your commentary, even though sometimes you're ahead of me a little bit. But it doesn't make any difference. I listen to you every chance I get, and I absolutely like the work you're putting in. You've been putting in work for a long time, and
Thanks, man.
yeah, you would definitely be one of the best, bro. Trust me. But
Dude, you have and I'm not blowing smoke up of your you know what, but you have a bright future ahead of you on here too.
I appreciate it.
You definitely bring not to get like off topic, but
Uh-huh.
so I met Spike Eskin. Shout out to him the other day. I met him at
Shout out to
rowing.
Right to Ricky Sanchez, the
Yes, shout
podcast
out to
too.
RTRS baby. Oh, it's so great. Uh,
Yep.
I I love like what him and Michael do. They do a great job, and the
Hell
producers
of a
that they
job.
have there are so awesome.
Hell of a
But
job.
the one thing that he said was that as a content creator, you really have to like make yourself stand out and you have to take a different angle to things. And
Right.
I feel like even though like we have so many incredible content creators on here when it comes to the Sixers, Mitch Kofsky, guys from the Hardcore Sports Network, DJ Eastwood, right from Running Back Philly Take with RB, Philly 500, 76ers Chat Sports, like all those guys, all those people do a really good job and
Mhm.
you definitely bring a really cool angle to when it comes to Sixers games and going over highlights and just your thoughts and your analysis. It's different and it stands out compared to others. And like they all do it well too. I also have to shout out Romp as well.
Romp,
uh
right.
but no, just like you really do an awesome job, and
Hey,
I respect you. And I'll be honest, I think I told you this before. Sometimes even before I go on for a game, I'll literally like as if I'm gathering my notes and stuff, I'll literally like listen to what you have to say because you know your stuff.
right. Hey, bro, I appreciate you. But with all that being said, we'll catch you guys on the next one.
Yep.
Peace.
Peace out.